Hey everybody, welcome back to Living in Lexington. My name's Ben Murphy. I'm a realtor with the Deuce Kirk team at eXp Realty here in Lexington. Today we are actually going to talk about Versailles Kentucky. That's something that we do here on this channel. We like to talk about Lexington, but we also like to discuss some of the towns that surround Lexington. Versailles is a hidden gem inside the Bluegrass State, and in this video we're going to continue our best neighborhood series, top neighborhood series, and today we're going to talk about a neighborhood in Versailles, Kentucky called Rose Ridge. All right, everybody. So here we are. We are on nextdoor.com. If you've watched any of my previous videos before, I really like to come to this website because it's really cool. I call it like an official Facebook group for your neighborhood. It's got all kinds of fun information. It talks about events. I've even seen lost animal posts on there, and within hours, people find them. I mean, it is a really cool little website to join. I'll be honest with you. I'm on it on our neighborhood, and my wife's on Facebook. I'm on this. So it is really cool. And I like to show you just because it gives you kind of an outline. I know it's including another subdivision called Rose Ridge 2 and Derby Hills, which we will talk about in future videos. But Rose Ridge is really just this little catty corner right here. And so when I go to this next map, you'll kind of see that. So Rose Ridge is really just kind of like right here. Real simple, nothing too crazy, but we're going to back it up just a little bit so you can see kind of geography wise. This is my main listing site that realtors use. I like to get on here to show you all again a little bit more of the landscape of what is going on relatively where everything is when it comes to Versailles, Kentucky. Let's actually go straight to Google. We'll go to Google Maps. So that way you can kind of see the city Versailles of itself is outlined in red. Let's back it up just a little bit. There's Lexington. I mean, Versailles is literally a 20-minute drive. It's probably one of the shortest trips you will actually take to get from anywhere, because we talk about Georgetown, Frankfort, Versailles. Don't really talk about Lawrenceburg. We probably will in the future because that is a cool little town, and it's only 45 minutes from Lexington. Paris is right at that 30-minute mark. We live over here in Winchester, which is right at that 30-minute mark. Richmond's right at that 30-minute mark as well, because you got that highway I-75 that takes you all the way in there. Winchester's got 64 that takes you all the way in, and Georgetown you can take 75. Versailles you actually have to take a road, Versailles Road, but it's actually pretty quick. They have done a really good job of making it multiple lanes for a pretty good distance. So travel wise, if you are trying to work in Lexington and live somewhere else outside of Lexington, Versailles is 100% one of those options. Again, really close, not too far, and as we start to talk about it a little bit more, you'll kind of understand why. Actually, one of our team members' daughter bought a house there recently, and they're very excited, have moved in and are already loving it. So as you can kind of see too, you got farms that surround Versailles. Versailles has got a lot of history. There's a lot of really cool things that go out there. Versailles is also home to Woodford Distillery. If you are a bourbon drinker, that is easily one of the best bourbons out there ever. Coolmore is actually one of the coolest farms I ever got to go check out. Tons of former Derby winners, champion winners. It's basically a stud farm at this point, where they're working on breeding the next future champions. So again, cool location when it comes to Versailles, Kentucky as well. But let's zoom in just a little bit, and you can kind of see it for yourself. When you just all you gotta do is go to Google, type in Versailles, Kentucky, and it'll show you all this different stuff. I drive through there relatively once, or maybe right around once a month. I'll go through there, whether it's to show a home or work on listing appointments. So again, everything's kind of very close. You're not far from anything. So Rose Ridge subdivision's right here. As you can see, it's off Old Ridge Road. I mean, it's a 2-mile drive to the city center. It's not far. So you're relatively close to everything when it comes to living in Versailles, Kentucky. And if you can't find it in Versailles, again, Lexington's roughly a 20-minute drive. I'm being honest about that. You can Google it. It might say 35 minutes, but that's if you're in high traffic. It will take you a decent minute to get into Lexington. But if you're a traveler, there's our airport right there. Again, um, convenience wise, I like Versailles because you got the convenience of actually getting to the airport, and you can actually get to Frankfurt from Versailles. Here's another road right here, 60. Will actually take you all the way to Frankfurt, and it's kind of like a secret shortcut. To be honest, when I worked at, I should say, I went to the University of Kentucky. Um, about right here, I instead of trying to fight through traffic and get all the way up to 64, I mean, it will take you 30, 40 minutes just to get there. You could literally take Versailles Road, and it'll take you all the way to 64, and then you can head straight home, which was Louisville for me. So let's zoom out. Louisville, Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky, two biggest cities in the state of Kentucky, and you also got our capital, Frankfurt, right there. Again, convenience wise, if you're not trying to live in Lexington, you might be trying to work in Frankfurt. You could be trying to work in Shelbyville. Again, 45-minute drive, not far. Versailles, location wise, might be one of the best locations. That's not like one of our major cities. And again, with its historical background, it's got a lot of different things going on there with horse tracks. So we'll zoom in so I can show you. If you've never heard of the Kentucky Castle, you need to Google the Kentucky Castle. It is probably one of the coolest insider secrets of the state of Kentucky. If you live here, if you lived in the central part, Louisville, Lexington, you've probably heard of the castle. My wife and I went there probably a year ago, and we had dinner there. They have events there all the time. I might be researching some info on their Mardi Gras events, not their Mardi Gras, their St. Patty's events. They've got some different things going on there. I think they got like a whiskey versus bourbon tasting class, which I think is actually kind of cool. And again, location wise, you're right there. Dough Daddy's Donuts. I actually have to make a video about them because, again, another kind of hidden gem. It's not like Buc-ee's in Richmond, Kentucky, but it's its own special place. It's right next to a huge Ford dealership. But I remember driving home, friends and I, if I ever hitched a ride, we usually would stop for a Dough Daddy donut because they are that good. I'm not lying about that. So that just kind of inspired me to do a video about them. So be on the lookout for that here in the near future. Okay, here's Keeneland. So Keeneland, again, if you've never heard of Keeneland, that is one of the most famous race tracks, horse race tracks in the United States, if not the world. I think it hosts the Breeders' Cup, which is, again, kind of like the Super Bowl of horse racing. The Kentucky Derby is right up there with the Preakness, Belmont as well, but the Breeders' Cup is its own special race in itself. And again, that's worth a Google. That's worth a YouTube. There's tons of YouTube videos out there about Keeneland in itself, so you should definitely go check that out. So, and it's a cultural icon in the area, so it's technically located in Versailles. I mean, I think you can say it's in Lexington, it's in Versailles. It's right on, it's a shared commodity, I'll say that. But whenever you hear Versailles, you will think of Keeneland, and vice versa, you'll think of Lexington as well. So one of the other cool things too about Keeneland, I'll tell you this and then we'll get going on the tour, is it's actually host to probably some of the biggest horse sales on the planet. I mean, you got horse salesmen from all over the world converging on one location. And I mean, I went there and worked an event when I was at the university. And I mean, I saw horses going for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're only like a year old. They haven't won anything yet, but because of their mommy and their daddy or their grandpa is a famous horse, someone's going to put money on it, and they're going to probably do very well. And they usually are pretty good. As long as they got a decent trainer, they are usually pretty good. So just wanted to throw that little tidbit out there. There's so much more we can talk about when it comes to Versailles. I can go in on Woodford Distillery, but again, if you're looking for that small town Kentucky feel, kind of surrounded by big cities, Versailles is definitely that. I mean, Versailles, I think the last time I checked, had roughly 9,000 residents located in Versailles. So again, small town community, good schools. Woodford's right up there, top 15 high schools in the state of Kentucky, year in, year out. It never fails. So again, good location, good schools, convenience to Lexington, Frankfurt, even heading towards Louisville. And it's definitely one of those places you got to check out. So let's hop in the car and let's go check out this subdivision. Hey everybody, before we get to the tour, you gotta do me a quick favor. Please hit that like button. It's gonna help get these videos out there surrounding the people that are trying to research a little bit more about the area. If you're one of those people who are considering moving to Versailles, Kentucky or Lexington, Kentucky, then you gotta hit that subscribe button. It's gonna be helpful for everything when it comes to researching about the different neighborhoods, restaurants, things to do. We're gonna cover all of that on this channel, so make sure you hit that button as well. Let's get to the tour.
Hey everybody, that does it for today's video. Thank you so much for sticking around here till the end. If you haven't done so already, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button. It's going to help get these videos out there, especially for those who are trying to research more about the area and trying to make the decision on where they want to land when it comes to moving. And if you are one of those people, then you got to do the next thing, which is hit that subscribe button. You're going to be notified every single time we release a video, and we're up to doing 3 videos a week at this point. And so you're going to be constantly updated about what's going on in the area, things to do, the real estate market. So you got to hit that subscribe button if you haven't so already. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ben Murphy with the Deuce Kirk team at eXp Realty, living in Lexington. Y'all have a good day.